2015, implement the line of authority and responsibility of the Delaware tribal government. I think Michelle is asking that be rescinded.
I make a motion to rescind Resolution 2015-51 that was passed on October 7th, 2015, implementing the line of authority and responsibility of the Delaware tribal government, which the third whereas on this resolution states that the chief, assistant chief, or tribal operations manager shall have oversight of the daily operations of the tribe. Delaware Tribal Council requesting information, documents, or directing actions of the tribal government department director or employee shall first direct the request to the tribal operations manager, assistant chief, or chief. I am requesting, I've made the motion to rescind this resolution. I find this resolution, I make the motion to rescind.
I second.
Call the question. Question been called.
Discussion?
Question been called. If you want to discuss, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. When when it was voted on 3 yes and 2 no and 1 abstained. And I noticed that Dr. Michael did not sign it as the secretary at that time.
Correct.
Could you explain that?
We established that there would be a deadline for everyone to turn in their resolutions, and this was not turned in by that deadline. So it didn't conform to the policy.
We established,
Yeah, in January, we had a meeting, all of us.
and we voted on it.
Yeah, Curtis was sitting right there. He was the tribal manager at the time. He wanted to know several times later why other people didn't turn in their resolutions. Normally, if someone had at least told me to save a slot for them, then we would.
We voted on it in a meeting, council meeting,
No, it wasn't at a council meeting, it was,
then you can't vote.
We didn't vote on it then.
we all agreed on it, yeah. And every week, at every meeting, previous to the meeting, Dana set out a notice that said it needed to be in by a certain date.
But we still didn't vote on it. And open meeting, did we?
One of the things I want to address, as Ms. Hawley just read, that the chief, assistant chief, and tribal operation manager is the line of authority. And what that does, you know, it goes back to the resolution or the approval or revision of the personnel committee. It's putting the same people in control and leaving out any kind of input that any other council person would have for this tribe. I think that we all have a certain amount of leeway to make decisions, and Ms. Hawley has taken it upon herself to rescind 2 faulty resolutions because she sees the fault in them, and yet nothing will ever be done about it because of the split in the vote. And it's just, I don't know how you change the good old boy system. I don't know how you would change it.
I don't think that this resolution stops any council member from requesting something of a tribal employee. It just redirects us to go to the department manager to request an employee for any documentation or anything that we might need. There's just too many bosses. You may have one council member directing an employee to do one thing and another council member coming along and directing the same employee to do something quite opposite. there is integrity to be involved with the request coming from the department manager. I can, we lost a good employee due to that prime example. We need to keep that line of authority intact.
I'd like to add something too. The resolution doesn't refer to department head managers. It's the tribal operations manager, and there has been a specific project that I was working on that I needed to request information on, which was the long-term transportation plan for our TTP under the BIA. And for whatever reasons, personal or they're private, but the tribal operations manager was out for a number of lengthy periods of time, which the tribal operations manager was not available to go through to request that information. Therefore, I requested contact with the housing authority, the housing program director at that time. I was questioned why I was going straight to the housing for this information, which if I would have gone through all of these particular number of channels here that's named, it would have taken an amount of time that was not permissible due to the deadlines. Also, I'd like to state that it is my belief that this line of authority, as I stated before when I opposed it, that it is unconstitutional. It gives power to the chief and assistant chief that our Constitution does not even provide. We are 7 equal members sitting up here, regardless of whatever title somebody may hold. It is simply that, a title. It is not a higher authority.
Actually, I agree with Michelle about that, but I would counter right back that the same thing that I am guided by, a majority vote of this council, every one of us took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the Delaware tribe. And none of us have any powers whatsoever to do anything without a majority vote of this tribal council, other than their duties as outlined in the Constitution. And furthermore, I think every one of our 35 employees is entitled to one boss, not 7.
Well, there's 3 listed on this resolution, so which one out of the 3 would that be?
Well, it says 4. 4.
That's what I'm asking, which one would it be?
It's political. If you have the chief and assistant chief in there, it becomes political. It needs to be coming from the staff.
The same with the reasoning that was stated earlier with the revisions to the Personnel Committee guidelines.
Make it the CFO, make it anybody that's in in that capacity, but to keep it at the chief or the assistant chief level is making it political.
Call for question.
The question has been called. The motion on the floor is to rescind resolution 2015-51. All in favor of rescinding 2015-51, please say aye and raise your
Aye.
hand.
Aye.
All opposed, please say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Let the record show that the resolution stands. And I would entertain, since we're on the subject, I've already said at least once tonight, several times in the past, I have no powers except those granted me in the Constitution. And whatever a majority vote this council directs me otherwise. And neither do any of you 6 other council members.
True story.
Therefore, I would entertain an amendment to Resolution 2015-51. If you go down to the bottom of it, the last 2 whereases say, the line of authority and responsibility shall not affect the relationship between the tribal treasurer and the chief financial officer as stated in Article 1, Section 4 of the bylaws. And whereas this resolution shall supersede any resolution previously adopted, now therefore be it resolved. The Delaware Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians does hereby authorize and approve the line of authority and responsibility for the Delaware Tribal Government as listed above. And here's my proposed amendment. And be it further resolved, any infraction of any part of this resolution shall be considered malfeasance which involves dishonesty. Did some council member make such motion to amend?
I'll make that motion, Chief.